Right now, it's time for this.
From the makers of The Earth is Flat and I'm only having one beer comes I Call BS.
Yes, well, welcome back to it. I Call BS. Get something off your chest. It can be footy related. It doesn't have to be. There's been a massive blow up at the Little Bay compound between myself and Miss Portugal this morning. A full-on argument, and we rarely argue. We are lovers, not fighters. But massive argument this morning because it's throw-out. We had a throw-out, so I put all the stuff out on the lawn. Somebody from up the road has put their rubbish there too. I know who you are, you palooka. I know that you put your rubbish outside my house. I checked on the camera. If you want to do a throw-out, you ring bloody Randwick Council. But that's not my thing. Is she goes, put all that stuff out on the front. Right. We're throwing that out.
Just on another note, doesn't Wayne live near you?
He does, yeah.
Right.
Could have been him. He could have put his stuff out there.
Well, you check the camera. You tell us.
Yeah, Newcastle jumpers and Dragons memorabilia. No, it wasn't Wayne. But anyway.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I want to go call BS on, Anthony. We've never been more into the mental welfare and the health welfare of concussions these days than what we are right now in rugby league. Every time a player certainly gets up a bit groggy, he's off for a head injury assessment, and as it should be. Yet last week we saw a player, Maratara Niokora for Parramatta, Marata Niokora from Parramatta,
It's not easy.
You. It's not easy. Thank God I'm not calling a game.
Red leather, yellow leather.
We saw him hit Brandon Smith for Melbourne, break his jaw, and yet the match review panel decided no charge necessary. And when I spoke to Michael Robertson, who's the coordinator of the match review committee, and look, he was quite reasonable about it, but he said, look, in their opinion, there might have been simultaneous contact between the chest and the shoulder, therefore they didn't believe there was a charge. If breaking a person's jaw on contact is not the definition of a careless tackle, then I'm not here. And I think at some point we've moved down this line where we like to have ex-players on the judiciary panel, we have ex-players on the match review panel. And the point of that is, I think we also need someone on there with actually a deeper understanding of the rules and what the rules are intended to be used for. Because if you can break a person's jaw in a tackle and not be charged for it, and yet we see these innocuous shots get put off for a head injury assessment, we are totally confusing ourselves. We're arguing against ourselves. And I think the game at some point has got to sit down and actually start addressing the way we tackle. I've never seen as many concussions in the game. And I'm talking about legitimate concussions too. Both genuinely knocked out. The game is more and more speed involved, greater impacts involved. There's more swinging arms. There's shoulders just being launched into tackles. And because now, unlike the old days where you used to tackle low, you used to hit below the ball, now you're hitting on the ball. We see so many tackles go wrong because they need to be off by an inch or two, and suddenly it's straight across the melon, as Brandon Smith appreciates. Now having his dinner through a straw, literally eating his dinner through a straw. I just think we need to adjust. We're going down, we on the one hand, we're so good with his head injury assessments, and then on the other, a guy gets his jaw broken from an illegal tackle and can't even get hit with a careless charge. The definition of careless means there's no intent. But there was an injury out of it. It has to be looked at.
All right, that's a good I Call BS. Hoops or Gordy, can I invite you into the BS conversation?
Gordon?
Yeah, I'm going to call BS what you said earlier on Marooners Wayne Bennett putting his hand up for another job.
Yeah.
You know, I said it before, I just like Wayne to finish this contract. At South. I think he didn't finish it at Newcastle, didn't finish it at the Broncos, and for obvious reason at the Broncos. But right now he's got a chance to finish at South, and for someone that's employed him, just stick to the players there, Wayne, and you've told him that you're going to stay there. But I think your name's popped up at the Bulldogs, the coach with Mick Innes, it's popped up at the Dragons, it's popped up at the Cowboys, it popped up at the Titans when they wanted a job, and now it's popped up at the Broncos. You're coaching at South. So I don't think that helps your players when your coach gets shopped around. It doesn't help when your teammates get shopped around, and they're easy replaced. Coaches are hard to get replaced. So I just like Wayne's name to stop getting shopped around.
Okay, that's a good I call BS too, but where does a coach finish their contract anymore? Hoops, would you like to call BS?
Anthony, one of your favourite topics, I'm going to call BS on the Anthony Seibold sympathisers because when you strip it all back, yes, nobody wants to see any of the social media garbage that was labelled at Anthony Seibold. It's off tap. You can simply address that. You come out, say, false, idiots, palookas, leave us all alone. And if don't come at me, don't come at my family. Obviously, he's got some other private family matters as well. Everybody respects that. But I don't think we can sit around and feel sorry for Anthony Seibold. And I don't think he did himself any favours either with the way that he chose to walk away from the Broncos. This PR campaign that it was all, dignified and that he was holding his head up and, it was a mutual agreement and all that sort of a thing. Look, he got a very good golden handshake. We're told it was up around the vicinity of $1.8 million. That's a damn good deal to walk away when you've only done 1.5 years of what was supposed to be a 6-year job.
And won 14 games.
Yes. So I think some of the Seibold sympathisers. Then there was other stuff that I reckon Anthony got badly advised about. He was getting dragged in. Phil Murphy had some off-tap remarks. Don't buy into that.
No.
Why are you buying back into that? There's enough other stuff going on. Just let that go into the ether and people shake their heads and judge it on what it is rather than you having to give it further oxygen. So I reckon he's been badly advised and it could have been handled better.
Well
said.
I think that comes down to Seibold too, Hoops. I think that was one of his problems. That, there was multiple problems. But one of his problems at the Broncos was he just couldn't let any slight go unignored. And he just he would just bite back and he'd get involved and he upset people, some irrelevant to him, some I think they were battles he didn't need to have, but his personality was such he would spend energy on those sorts of things when he didn't need to.
He seemed to have a glass jaw, Kenty, with any sort of criticism. It didn't matter how light or how heavy, he found it very hard to just...
Which we didn't see when he was at South because he never really got any. It was all praise that year.
Correct, yeah.
All right, boys. Well, that was a great I call BS. I'm putting that one in for the Radio Awards, that one.